Well, I wanted to thank you for taking time to speak with me today.
No problem. Thanks for having us.
You have to be very happy with the response to the album.
Yeah, we're pretty happy with it so far.
Yeah, man, we've got a lot of good feedback so far.
Yeah, I think it's your strongest album to date. I love it from top to bottom, my friends.
Thanks. Appreciate
Thank
it.
you.
I wanted to ask you, were there any changes in the recording process this time around?
Not particularly anything different than what we normally have done before. It took a lot longer to do than normal. And we did have to record some drum tracks and a few things at different times. So not too many people have picked up on that, but so Jeremy got a really close drum sound on, the two different kits, but that was really the only thing that was the major difference.
And we probably broke half of it in the rehearsal studio and then half of it in the studio. So I think last time we wrote a lot in the studio on
Yeah,
one and two.
the first five songs compared to writing them in the practice room. The last four we wrote in the studio.
And I wanted to ask about one of my favorite tracks, which is All Father. I wanted to ask if you could speak on that track.
What's your song?
It was a riff that the main riff was the riff that I've had for, I don't know, probably 2 years, maybe two and a half. And I just been messing around with it. And I just showed it to Casey one day. Me and him were here messing around and I showed it to him and he came up with the drum part. And we're like, that's pretty cool. I like that. So after he left, I just started working on the bridge and the chorus and stuff, and just kind of went from there. It's kind of thing
Yeah.
where most of the songs start out.
Yeah, we just usually get his ideas on this one, and then we just kind of jam them out and try to get how to lay it out and get it more, get it organic and flowing, So yeah, it's a super cool track. It's one of my favorites.
It was a little more difficult to come up with some vocal lines and melodies for it than some of the other tracks, just because it's a little heavier and faster, and so it was. I thought it was hard to come up with, and when I laid the tracks down, everybody seemed to like it. So I think it turned out nice.
Yeah, it
Yeah.
turned out amazing. And another one of my tracks is Bloodline. I wanted to ask if you could speak on that one as well.
That was like one of the first songs we wrote for this album.
Yeah.
Yeah, we had been playing that song for a pretty long time before we actually wrote any of the other songs. It was like Terry said, it was the first track pretty much that we wrote, and we had played it out. I don't know, numerous times before we really knew it was going to be on the album, but it seemed to go over pretty well live, so we decided to put it on the album and keep it. And but it's definitely an older song. We've been playing it now for over 2 years. So
Wow.
yeah, definitely a little older song.
And you guys have released amazing lyric videos. I wanted to ask you, who's responsible for creating them?
That would be Mark Jackson. He also plays bass for a band called Ice Howl.
Yeah, he's a really talented guy.
Yeah, he did a good job.
Yeah, it's amazing work. And
Cool.
you guys have always had great album artwork as well. I wanted to ask you, who's responsible for the artwork for this album?
David Paul Seymour. He does a lot of albums and T-shirt work throughout the Doom scene and um, other stuff. But he does a good job. He's done some T-shirt artwork for us before, and we really like the colors that he uses and things like that. So we decided to get a hold of him this time and see if he'd be interested in doing it.
And I really love the journey of the band. A lot of a lot of people want to classify you in different areas, doom, this, that, and the other thing. I think that you have a sound that's unique to your own. But I wanted to ask you personally, how would you classify your sound?
I mean, to me, we have elements of new wave of British heavy metal. We have elements of doom. We have elements of stoner. And then we just have elements of straight up heavy metal. I mean, we don't really set out to sound one certain way or anything. It's just kind
Mhm.
of what happens with the combination of the things that we all grew up with and are listening to now. I guess our influences stand out pretty tall in our music most of the time.
And in
Yeah.
speaking of your influences, I wanted to ask each of you, what are some bands that influenced each of you?
Uh, well, for me, I mean, I love 70s rock and Black Sabbath, of course, and Cathedral, the band Cathedral, I really like a lot. I've been listening to a lot of death metal lately, and I really like. I mean, Death is probably my all time favorite death metal band, and Atheist and Cynic, and um, but I love Kiss, I love Judas Priest, I love Iron Maiden. I mean, it's pretty broad for me, and I like other stuff too. I like '80s pop music. So it's kind of yeah, I'm kind of everywhere on it. What about you?
Uh, yeah, a lot of the same bands Chris listened to because we grew up together. Chris and I.
Ah,
It actually.
Yeah. So we were always hanging out and listening to the same stuff. So everybody kind of went into their phases and
Yeah.
got each other in different bands and stuff. So like I think we started off kind of, like when thrash hit real big in the late 80s.
Misfits and Sam Hain and I mean, we were into all
Metallica and Megadeth and stuff. And then it went to Slayer. Then I discovered things like, Paradise Lost and
sure.
Cathedral and stuff like that. But there was always a root in bands like Iron Maiden and Priest and like even, like Thin Lizzy, stuff like
Sure,
that,
absolutely.
you know. And I think you can hear some of that in our music sometimes. It kind of peaks out in little places, So, yeah.
Sure. And when I think of Iron Maiden, I think of and bands like them and Thin Lizzy, I think of the harmonization of guitars. I think
Right.
they really brought that into the forefront.
No, for sure.
definitely.
What about you, Terry?
I mean, my influences growing up is these guys are just a little bit older than me. So I grew up listening to hair metal. That's where I started out listening to it. And then as I started, hanging out with Chris and Jeff and Shane, our drummer, I started getting into more heavier stuff then. But I'd say my all time favorite band's probably Led Zeppelin
You're a big Crew fan,
and Motley Crue, but
Yeah,
I don't say that too loud.
The first 2 hours.
Yeah,
First.
Yes. Yeah, it's hard to determine. I think, in my opinion, I think Bob Rock can be a curse or a gift to you, depending upon how you look at it.
Yeah.
When you look at Dr. Feelgood and the Black Album and stuff like that, you
Mhm.
look at it and you go, well, in a way, this was a curse, and in a way, it did them good, you
Yeah,
know,
right.
but it definitely took the edge away. You
Yeah,
know,
yeah,
sure did.
definitely took
with
that way.
Metallica after Masters came out, they kind of lost me, you know.
Right, right. For sure.
What's the next step for you? What can fans look for next from you?
Honestly, we don't really know. I mean, we would love to be able to get on some festivals, some larger festivals over in Europe, possibly some larger festivals here. Even smaller festivals. We're not, opposed to playing those. It just has to make sense for us to be able to make the trip. And I plan on starting to write more stuff for the next album here as soon as I get my recording stuff figured out.
And so, is it safe to say there's a chance we could see you in Ohio?
Oh,
In
yeah.
Ohio, oh, definitely.
for sure.
Yeah, definitely. I mean, Ohio's not far from us at all, depending on where you're talking about in Ohio. But, I mean, we're 40 minutes from Dayton, Ohio.
Oh, that's amazing. That's great. Yeah. And there's a lot of good clubs in the Columbus area.
Oh yeah, yeah, yeah. We played in Columbus a little while back. Where did we play?
Played the King of Clubs.
Yeah, we played. Well,
Oh,
that's
okay.
yeah, yeah. We played King of Clubs, and I was thinking, what I was
Space
thinking,
Bar.
Space bar.
yeah, we played Space Bar a couple years ago. So
I wanted to ask you guys if you could give advice to a band that's up and coming that is trying to break through, just starting right now, what advice would you give them?
try and break through.
Yeah.
I don't know. We're still waiting for that to happen for us. I mean, a lot of people think because we were on Napalm Records that we kind of like, oh, they made it, and I mean, it was a great thing for us. It was a good experience. I'll say that it was a learning experience for all of us. But as far as breaking through, I don't think we've done that yet because we've been around going on 8 years now,
Hmm.
and actually almost nine, and we're still hoping to play bigger festivals and get on more national act tours and things like that. But it's not happened. And a lot of it is our own fault. But sometimes you just got to play the game, and it's a lot of it's who you know. And but I mean, as far as advice goes, if you're playing music and you're not playing it for yourself and you don't enjoy it, then why are you playing? You don't really
Sure.
have to worry about getting to the next level. I mean, we're still playing at 52 years old because we enjoy it. Um, we enjoy writing music. We enjoy spending time together. And, fortunately for us, uh, it, people think that we put out a pretty good product. So that's just the fortunate side for us. But if nobody listened to it and nobody thought it was good or whatever, I'm sure we would still be doing it. So
Yeah, I think that, the biggest or the best advice would be just to play for yourselves, write music for yourselves. Don't play to the crowd, you know?
Stick to your guns.
Yeah, because the creative process, if you're passionate about it, somebody's gonna somebody's gonna dig it, And if they don't dig it, well, you're not writing for them anyway. You know what I
Sure.
mean? So yeah, always and have a clear vision of what you want to do. Don't I mean sometimes that's a lot of, you got to experiment until you find something that grooves with all of you, that all of you can together, that makes sense, musically.
and sometimes I mean your vision changes throughout each record. I mean, we've got some songs on here on the new album that 5 years ago may not have made the album because we thought, oh, it sounds too metal. It's not enough
Sure.
doom. It's not enough this. And there's songs that I got pretty much written that I've not even shown these guys because I think it's a little different than what we're doing. And I'm not sure how people will accept that. But I guess at the end of the day, we just need to play them and see how they sound. And if we like them, then put them on an album. And if nobody else likes them, that's just the way it is, I guess.
Well, sure. And that speaks to your development and your growth through the years. If I listen to your first album and I listen to this new one, I see an evolution in the band. And there's nothing wrong with evolving because, in my point, it's just gotten better and more polished along the way.
Thanks.
Awesome, thank you.
Thank you. Yeah, I've had a couple people reach out to me and say they think that it's our best album. And
Absolutely.
to me, I mean, that's saying a lot because our first album was really accepted very well.
Sure.
And most people would probably say they like that the best out of all of our albums. But I mean, I love that album. I think it was a really good album, but it's probably personally not my favorite album that we've done. Now I've got songs on that album that I really, really like,
Mhm.
but I also have songs on other albums that I like more or just as well.
I wanted to ask you as well, you've had a few collaborations on this album. How did they go for you?
What was that again? I'm sorry.
You've had a few collaborations on this album. I wanted to ask how they went for you.
You mean as musically wise?
Yes,
Well, I mean, you talking about Jeremy Lovins me playing guitar?
yes.
Okay, and Casey Wainwright playing the drums?
Hmm.
Okay, well, Jeremy joined the band right after we wrote Blood and Iron. So he's
Okay,
actually in the band. He's just not here today because his mom's having some health problems and he's having to take care of that. So he is still in the band and he plays with us when we play out when he can. So Casey, as far as Casey goes, he joined the band and he had some health problems of his own. He had a pretty bad neck problem and he's had to go through some physical therapy and things like that. So he decided to bow out of the band. Um, I don't know, 9 months ago because of the health problems. And Shane stepped in. We've known Shane. I've known Shane since he was, I think, 15, and we played in a band together with me and Jeff and Shane and another guy played in a death metal band together back in the late '80s, early '90s. And we've just known him forever. And he stepped in and helped us out. And we finally just asked him if he wanted to join, and he said that he would. He is in another band also, so he's making time in between both bands. But as far as Casey goes, and as far as Jeremy goes, we love their playing. We thought they did a great job.
absolutely. And I wanted to ask you as well, we talked about the live experience. Can you tell your fans what they can expect live when they see you?
I think you can expect to hear us sound as much like the album as possible. And that's why we added a third guitar player because we have a lot of three-part harmonies, a lot of things going on that we
Hmm.
can't, it's really hard to pull off with two guitar players. So, but if you're wanting to hear a band that sounds pretty damn close to the album, then we're the band to see. I mean, there's lots of bands that I love, but honestly, sometimes when you go and see them, it's like the singer's just not, he's not
Sure.
a guitar or just other things just don't vibe live. But I think our live sound is what gains a lot of people once they see us play live.
Yeah. There's no gimmicks. We just plug and play
Yeah,
and try to sound as close to the album as possible.
we're not going to be jumping around and acting silly because we're too old for that.
No spin kicks or anything
Yeah.
like that.
But you will hear the harmonies. You will hear the solos sounding almost identical to that record, if not identical. The drums will be solid as hell. The bass lines will be solid as hell, and hopefully everybody thinks the singing will be. But uh, I would say our live show is one of our better attributes.
And then getting back to the album, I wanted to ask you, were there any tracks that were cut that didn't make the release?
We had one, but it wasn't actually cut. It was the album was already long enough.
Hmm.
It was actually almost too long,
Yeah.
really. So we have one that's just on the back burner. I mean, we may use it for the next album. We may just put it out as a single sometimes.
And then getting back to the album, I wanted to ask you, what is the best way to get a physical copy of this album and any merchandise that you have?
You can get a physical copy through either Ripple Music through their Bandcamp. Um, is it Ripple Music?
Big cartel.
Yeah, Big Cartel. They're theirs, or you can go to our band camp, the Wolftooth band camp, and you can get CDs and vinyl and T-shirts and patches. So you either way, you can go to either band camp.
And on your website, is that the best way to tune in to see when a live performance is going to happen?
There or Facebook. follow our Facebook page
And
and
Instagram.
or Instagram, and we always update all of our shows and everything like that on there. So, and and if anybody ever wants to get a hold of us about playing, you can get a hold of us through Facebook or Instagram or anything. Yeah, we pretty much right at the moment, we're pretty much doing our own booking. Um, so yeah, if they want to get a hold of us, that's a good way to get a hold of us.
And lastly, I wanted to ask each of you and give you each a moment to speak to your fans. If you have any message for your fans, what would it be?
Mine would be just, we appreciate the support, and we've had a lot of it through the last 7 or 8 years, and it feels good to know that we're making music for ourselves that other people want to hear.
Yeah, I would say for me, you know, it's funny when you do this, it's like when we first put our first album out, and I don't know, I know a lot of it probably has to do with algorithms and things like that as far as Facebook and Instagram and all these other
Sure.
socials, but it's like you see a wave of fans come and then then they kind of fall off, and then you get like a new wave of fans. So it's kind of weird to see fans that have been with you from the beginning and then maybe a couple albums in and then them fading away, but getting new fans, that haven't heard you before. And we've been, like I said, we've been around for 8 years, and there's fans that are saying, "Man, I've never heard of you guys. It's I can't believe I've never heard of you guys." So, but my thing would just be thank you for all the support that everybody's given us, and thank you to the people that are still from the very first album still with us. And we don't plan on stopping anytime soon. Hopefully, we would like to be able to write something and have it out sooner than 2 years, but
Mm,
sometimes things take time, but
sure.
just, just thank you for all the support that everyone has given us pretty much.
And yeah, and I think it's just awesome to have fans. I think all of us when we started, we just started this band because none of us at the time were like jamming seriously or anything. And so when we were missing jamming, together. So we started uh, writing songs together, and we just decided to, put out like a 3-song demo, put it up on Bandcamp, and it kind of blew up, and that's how we got signed to our first deal. And so it's just, it's amazing that we're 4 albums in, and there's still people that want to hear it. So it's amazing. So thank you, guys, for listening and caring about the band. Really appreciate it.
Yeah, we were wondering if we were still going to be relevant after 4 albums, but this album seems to have hit a spark with some people, maybe reviving their love for Wolftooth.
And classic metal.
Yeah.
Yes. And I think your album collection speaks volumes. And being a fan for a few years now, every album has always made me want more and want to see what lies ahead next in your journey. And you didn't disappoint at all with this last album. It's killer from top to bottom. It's hard for me to pick 2 songs to talk about, my friends,
Thank you.
because actually we could talk about each and every one because it's great through and through, and you should be very proud of the album you've created.
Yeah, we're really proud of the way it turned out. We've heard a lot of people say the production was way better on this album, and the last album, Blood and Iron, it actually sounded good at one point, and we kind of went in and screwed it up, but we were on a deadline, and we've never worked on a deadline before. So, and when you're working with a label that's as big as Napalm, it kind of gets to you a little bit. So
Sure.
it's, you know, makes you a little nervous about what you're doing, and you're unsure of yourself. So it's, it just, I love the songs on that album. I think the songs on Blood and Iron are probably some of my favorite songs.
Sure.
The production could have been better. The drum volume could have been better. And, someday we'll probably remix it and, do something like that. But this album, there really isn't much that I can complain about on this album at all.
Well, I wanted to take a moment to thank you for taking time to speak with me. It's been an absolute pleasure speaking with you and an honor to speak with you as well. You guys have done amazing music that I enjoy in my daily life. And I look forward to what lies ahead, and I definitely look forward to seeing you in Ohio, my friends.
Yeah,
Awesome.
yeah, just keep an eye on our Facebook page or Instagram, and we're gonna, when we get some shows, we'll update everybody for when we're gonna be playing live.
Well, thank you, my friends, for your time, and you have a great rest of your evening.
All right, you too.
You too, man. Thank you.
Thank you so much.
Thank you. Take care.
Bye.
Bye.